Your absence became their curse, not because you punished them, but because you stopped saving them from the consequences of their own choices. And now, somewhere in the silence they once created, a person is drowning in regret for what they did to you. Have you ever noticed how some people only understand the value of a light after they've spent too long in the dark? At first, they think they'll be fine without it. They convince themselves that nothing important was lost. They walk away proudly, believing another light will appear whenever they need one. But time has a strange way of revealing truths that pride tries to hide. Maybe they ignored your loyalty. Maybe they took your kindness for granted. Maybe they betrayed your trust, dismissed your feelings, or treated your presence like something ordinary, something that would always be there no matter how carelessly they behaved. And then one day, you were gone. Not with revenge, not with anger, not with a dramatic goodbye. You simply stopped offering what they never appreciated. And that's when the real story began. Because the greatest punishment isn't always losing someone, it's realizing too late what that person truly meant. It's waking up one morning and understanding that the peace they gave, the support they offered, and the love they carried were never replaceable. Today, we're going to explore the hidden psychology of regret, the painful truth people discover after losing someone genuine, and why your absence may have become the lesson they never expected to learn. Because sometimes the person who walks away isn't the one who loses. Sometimes the one left behind spends years haunted by a ghost they created themselves. And by the end of this video, you may understand something powerful. The greatest revenge was never revenge at all. It was your absence. Chapter 1. The day they mistook your value for permanence. Most regrets don't begin with cruelty. They begin with certainty. The certainty that you'll always be there. Human beings have a dangerous habit of adapting to blessings. What once felt extraordinary slowly becomes normal. What once inspired gratitude becomes expected. The morning text becomes routine. The support becomes ordinary. The loyalty becomes invisible. And eventually, the person providing all those things becomes taken for granted. This is where many people make a fatal emotional mistake. They stop seeing the gift. They only see the availability. Carl Jung once suggested that people often fail to recognize what they possess until it disappears into the unconscious. In simple terms, we become blind to what is constantly present. Imagine a man living beside a beautiful ocean. Every day he sees the waves. Every day he hears the water. Eventually he stops noticing its beauty. But the moment he's forced into a desert, the memory of that ocean becomes unbearable. This is exactly how many people treat genuine human connections. They assume your patience is endless. They assume your forgiveness is guaranteed. They assume your love is permanent. And assumptions are dangerous. Because permanence is an illusion. Even the strongest hearts eventually grow tired of carrying relationships alone. There comes a moment when the soul quietly asks a question. Why am I fighting for someone who doesn't value my presence? The answer often changes everything. Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, the way winter arrives 1 degree at a time. And when you finally leave, the shock isn't yours, it's theirs, because they never prepared for a reality where you no longer existed within their reach. That's when the first seed of regret begins to grow, not because they lost control, but because they lost something they believed could never be lost. Chapter 2. The silence that haunted them more than any argument. Many people think regret begins the moment a relationship ends. It doesn't. Regret begins when the noise disappears, when there are no more explanations, no more emotional messages, no more attempts to fix what only one person was trying to save. You see, when someone hurts you repeatedly, they often become accustomed to your reactions. They expect the tears, They expect the disappointment. They even expect the arguments. Because arguments, strangely enough, still prove one thing: you care. As long as you're fighting, you're still emotionally invested. As long as you're explaining, you're still hoping. As long as you're trying, there's still a bridge connecting two people. But when that bridge disappears, when the messages stop, when the explanations end, when your energy quietly returns to yourself, something unexpected happens. The person who once ignored your value is suddenly left alone with their own thoughts, and thoughts can become prisons. The philosopher Carl Jung believed that what we refuse to confront externally eventually returns internally. The truths we avoid don't disappear, they wait. At first, they distract themselves, they stay busy, they convince themselves they're happier, they tell friends they made the right choice. They repeat the story that protects their pride. But silence is patient. It waits until the distractions lose their power. Then, usually late at night when the world becomes quiet, memories begin to speak. A song reminds them of you. A place reminds them of you. A simple moment triggers a flood of forgotten emotions. And suddenly, they aren't remembering the version of you they took for granted. They're remembering the version of you they lost. The kindness they ignored, the loyalty they overlooked, the comfort they assumed would always remain available. This is why silence often wounds deeper than confrontation. Confrontation gives people something to resist. Silence gives them nothing except reflection. And reflection is where regret grows strongest, because in silence, excuses begin to collapse. The mind starts replaying old conversations, old choices, old mistakes. And for the first time, they see themselves clearly, not as the victim, not as the hero, but as the person who helped create the loss they now suffer from. That realization is rarely immediate. It's slow, painfully slow, like watching a sunset and realizing too late that the daylight is already gone. And this is the cruel irony of regret. When understanding finally arrives, the opportunity that once existed may no longer be there. Because while they were busy learning your value, you were busy learning your own. The version of you that once begged for understanding has disappeared. And that is often the moment their regret becomes impossible to ignore. For the first time, they understand that your silence was not a game, it was closure. And closure is something many people don't appreciate until it's given to someone else. Chapter 3. The moment they realized nobody could replace you. Have you ever tried to replace something valuable only to discover that what made it special could never be copied? This is the stage where regret transforms from a passing feeling into a lasting burden. When people walk away from someone genuine, they often believe another person can easily fill the empty space. After all, there are billions of people in the world. New conversations can happen, new relationships can begin, new faces can appear. But what they fail to understand is that people are not interchangeable. A person is not valuable simply because they exist. They are valuable because of the unique energy they bring into your life. Your patience, your understanding, your way of listening, your ability to calm storms that nobody else could calm, your presence during difficult seasons, the countless little things that seemed ordinary at the time. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should appreciate what we have before fate removes it from our hands. Yet most people learn this lesson backward. They appreciate after losing, not before. At first, the person who hurt you searches for substitutes. Someone new, a different friendship, a different relationship, a different source of validation. And for a while, it seems to work. The distraction creates the illusion of healing. But eventually reality arrives, because replacements can imitate certain qualities. They cannot recreate a soul. A new person may offer attention, but not your understanding. A new person may offer excitement, but not your loyalty. A new person may offer company, but not your emotional safety. This realization often arrives unexpectedly, perhaps during a difficult day when they need someone who truly understood them. Perhaps during a personal crisis, perhaps during a moment of loneliness that no amount of social interaction can fix. And suddenly they remember you. Not the idealized version, not the fantasy, the real you, the person who stood beside them when there was no benefit in doing so, the person who gave without constantly keeping score, the person whose value became visible only after absence revealed the void. This is when many people become trapped between two painful truths. The first truth, they miss you. The second truth, they may never get another chance. That second realization is where regret becomes unbearable, because regret is not merely sadness about the past. Regret is the painful awareness that a different choice could have created a different future. And every time they compare what they have now with what they lost, the weight grows heavier. They begin to understand something that pride once prevented them from seeing. You were never easy to replace. You were impossible to duplicate, not because you were perfect, but because authenticity has no substitute. And once they truly understand that, their regret deepens into something far more haunting. A permanent question. What would my life look like if I had treated them differently? That question follows people for years, sometimes decades, because some losses teach lessons that arrive long after the opportunity has disappeared. Chapter 4. When their regret became their greatest teacher and your greatest freedom. Most people focus on the person who regrets. Very few pay attention to the person who healed, because while regret is painful, freedom is transformative. And often, both journeys begin on the same day, the day you walked away. At first, their world became smaller. Yours felt broken. They experienced the discomfort of loss. You experienced the pain of letting go. But something remarkable happens when a person stops chasing what refuses to value them. Their energy returns, their focus returns, their identity returns. For so long, many people spend years trying to earn appreciation from those who should have offered it freely. They explain themselves repeatedly. They overextend their kindness. They sacrifice their peace, hoping to be understood. And one day, exhaustion becomes wisdom. The ancient philosopher Lao Tzu wrote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." That is exactly what happens after a painful separation. You stop being the version of yourself that constantly seeks validation, and you become the version that finally chooses self-respect. Meanwhile, the person who hurt you begins facing a different reality. The reality of consequences. Not punishment, consequences. There's a difference. Punishment is something another person gives you. Consequences are something life gives you. And life has a way of teaching lessons that no argument ever could. Every meaningful absence becomes a mirror reflecting choices, words, actions, missed opportunities. Eventually, many people realize they weren't suffering because you left. They were suffering because they failed to value what they had. That realization is devastating, because it cannot be blamed on anyone else. The responsibility belongs entirely to them, and responsibility is where true regret lives. Yet there is something deeper hidden within this story. Regret, despite its pain, is often a teacher. Some people never learn from it. Others are transformed by it. The experience humbles them. It forces them to confront their pride, their selfishness, their emotional blindness. For the first time, they understand that relationships are not guaranteed. Love is not guaranteed. Loyalty is not guaranteed. Presence is not guaranteed. Everything meaningful in life is temporary, and temporary things deserve appreciation. But by the time this lesson arrives, you have already begun your own transformation. You've learned that your worth was never dependent on their recognition. You've learned that being undervalued does not make you less valuable. A diamond remains a diamond even in the hands of someone who mistakes it for a stone. This is why your absence became their curse. Not because you wanted revenge, not because you wished them suffering, but because your departure exposed a truth they could no longer avoid. The truth that genuine people are rare, the truth that loyalty is rare, the truth that real connection is rare. And once lost, those things cannot always be recovered. Meanwhile, your absence became your liberation. You stopped carrying the burden of proving your value. You stopped shrinking yourself to fit someone else's limitations. You stopped waiting for appreciation that never came. And in that freedom, something beautiful happened. You remembered who you were. So, if someone is drowning in regret today because of what they did to you, understand this: their regret is not your responsibility. Their lesson is not your burden. And their awakening is not something you need to manage. Life teaches every person eventually. Some lessons arrive through success, others arrive through loss. The people who once took you for granted may spend years replaying memories, wondering how things could have been different, wondering what would have happened if they had chosen gratitude over pride, respect over neglect, love over ego. But your journey is no longer about their realization. It's about your growth. Because the greatest victory is not watching someone regret losing you. The greatest victory is reaching a point where their regret no longer determines your happiness. And perhaps that is the deepest lesson of all. Some people enter your life to share your future. Others enter your life to teach you your worth. And when the right lesson has been learned, even the most painful goodbye can become the beginning of your freedom. If this message resonated with you, ask yourself one question: who became stronger the moment they stopped begging to be valued? The answer may be closer than you think. It may be the person staring back at you in the mirror.